edition Saturday on North Carolina Public Radio WUNC.
This is a weekend edition from NPR News. I'm Scott Simon. I wouldn't want to call The Insane City a typical Dave Barry novel. What kind of thing is that to say about it? The story begins with a bachelor dinner that goes off the rails, then brings in Russian monsters, the fourth place finisher, this one amateur. So far, with the Pulitzer Prize for commentary with the Miami Herald in 1988. They can't take it back, so Dave Barry even joins us from studios at the Miami Herald today. Thanks so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure, thanks.
I'm struck in this novel by an utterly serious subplot you have that revolves around Loretta, a Haitian woman and her two children, struggling to make new lives in the United States, washing in from the sea. What made you put that in there?
I attended a wedding on Key Biscayne at the Ritz-Carlton, which is a beautiful hotel over there, and you sit facing the water, the ocean, and I'm thinking, what would happen if like right now, a raft came up? Because it does happen. Key Biscayne is where they land a lot. That's really what got me started. And I thought, well, with Cuban, they'll maybe should be Haitians, because for the most part, Haitians get sent back and Cubans don't. And then I started thinking about that story.
Well, help us understand the place a bit.
Well, the main thing is it's this stew of ingredients that really never quite come together right. We have people from all over the world who come here to visit and to party, and it's a lot of them just to live or to get away from something. Then we have the fact that it's basically a swamp. I mean, I live in a swamp. Right now we have an infestation of Burmese pythons, gigantic snakes roaming around the Everglades, and it just never ever calms down here.
You make it sound like it's a city that's been only nominally reclaimed from the wilds of swampland.
It hasn't been reclaimed. When I first moved here, the first day of my life as a homeowner in South Florida, I walked out onto my lawn to get the newspaper, and on my lawn were crabs. Like, not just a few, but hundreds and hundreds of crabs. And they were not happy about me being there, because turns out it was crab mating season. And they were like waving their pinchers at me, like angrily, like I wanted to mate with their women. I didn't want their women. Their women are crabs, you know. But they didn't know that. Or maybe they were bitter about that. I don't know. But I remember sprinting back into my house barefoot, afraid to go out and get the paper. I said, where have I moved? I lived in Pennsylvania. We had crab grass. But here we have crabs.
You really love Miami, don't you? You're from Pennsylvania, but you really love Miami.
I do. I moved here in 1986 from the United States, and I have come to really love it here. And it's a great place to be a humor writer. Carl Hiaasen is probably the best there is down here.
The crime novelist.
His quote is, "You really don't need an imagination to write fiction about South Florida. You just need a subscription to the Miami Herald."
What is blogging and all kinds of things, personal commentary that we're reading on the web, done to the institution of the great city columnist? I think of you when you were with the Miami Herald full time, but you inevitably think of Mike Royko, Jimmy Breslin. What's happened?
Well, we've been tweeted out of existence. The time that people used to spend crafting one thoughtful 800-word piece, they're more likely to spend now dashing off 53 one-liners, because that's going to get them a lot broader audience. I covered both conventions last summer, and I don't really mean this criticism of political journalism. I don't know if it's bad or good. I'm just saying, noticed how much of what journalism has become is now, I remember the first campaign where I went to Iowa and New Hampshire, and I remember seeing like David Broder and all those guys at the bar, and you would hear them talking about what's going on, and then a couple of days later,